A little while ago, there was this internet trend going around about men thinking about ancient Rome about once a week. And typically the stereotype would follow something about like gladiators, colosseums, Julius Caesars, etc., etc. And do not get me wrong, I think about that quite often, and seeing a gladiator fight to the death while I'm on copious amounts of mead sounds absolutely thrilling and gets my blood pumping. One thing recently I've been thinking about though is their bathhouses. Look, even the biggest, baddest, coolest ancient Romans had to bathe this well. Dang it! And without the invention of modern plumbing, they were forced to use communal bathhouses. Now, this is not a Roman-made idea. In fact, the first known instance of this is back in 2500 BC in what is modern-day Pakistan. But the reason I bring up the Romans is because the cultural significance of what they were doing, I think, is really something we don't see today. In Rome, there were two types of bathhouses. There was thermae, which comes from the Greek word thermos, meaning hot, and balnae. I hope I pronounced that right. I couldn't find the pronunciation online. Long story short, thermae were the big communal ones, while balnae was going to be the more private, secluded ones. We are mainly in this video going to be talking about thermae. Considering everyone should be showering, bathhouses were a huge part of the Roman life and experience. A lot of people plan their day around attending the bathhouses. Bathing took a little while back in the day. They had quite a bit of steps. I'll put a link in the description so you can read through it if you'd like. But it took quite a bit of time, I'll be fully honest with you. So seeing friends, making conversation, etc., was a huge, crucial part of the experience. I mean, when you really think about it, this was one of the greatest examples of a third place you could find. For anyone unaware, your first place is your home, your second place is your work, and your third place is going to be a place where you go to socialize. In Ray Oldenburg's 1989 book, The Great Good Place, he argues that third places are important for democracy, civil engagement, and a sense of place. Today's modern equivalents would be like churches, gyms, malls, etc., but I believe that we are losing our third place to the internet. I think that's another topic for another day, though. These bathhouses were so alive and booming, even politicians were going around trying to convince people of their cause within these bathhouses.
Sir, do I have your vote?
I mean, this is how most people ended up meeting up with friends, exchanging events, plans, dinners, etc. These complexes were so established, many had libraries, places to read, galleries, places to buy food or drinks, gyms even. Many Romans didn't even have access to grand libraries around them, so by having a library within their bathhouse is huge. I mean, we take it for granted nowadays with having all the information in the world at our fingertips, but not having access to books, libraries back in the day, I mean, that's a huge problem. The overarching idea of community and equality centered around a common need for hygiene is honestly spectacular. Slaves, yes, ancient Rome has slaves, were even allowed to bathe. On holidays, a lot of times the wealthy would just pay for everyone to get in so that they can enjoy the wealth of knowledge, fitness, hygiene, and even food. The Romans believed that good health came from bathing, eating, massages, and exercise. So putting all these in one place, I mean, it's just kind of a no-brainer. Since some citizens would be bathing multiple times a week, it kind of helped keep Roman society overall decently clean. When a foreigner asked a Roman emperor why he bathed once a day, he replied, "Because I do not have enough time to bathe twice a day." On God. Now, I'm not trying to say anything they were doing was perfect. I mean, there was even quite a little bit of criticism for how they were upkept. Some sources saying back in the day there was mildew, buildup, oils, dirt, etc. It's more so for me, I just like the idea of the communal aspect and the little idea of equality almost, where it's like, you know, everyone's got to bathe, so we have a giant spot for everyone to bathe that also has some other resources attached to it. I'm not necessarily saying that the Romans were doing anything perfect or that we should go back to bathhouses. To be honest with you, I don't know if I could do that. I recently watched an interview with New York City Mayor Zoran Mamdani, and he said that one of the things that he likes within socialism is the idea of having services be so good to the public that everyone uses them. Not necessarily things that only benefit the lowest or only benefit the highest communities, but something so good that everyone uses it. And that's kind of what these bathhouses represent as well, is the idea of, you know, a communal thing that is just, it's the best way to do something. It's not that we are providing something to somebody and someone else has to pay for it necessarily. It's not that these group of people get something and these group don't. It's the idea that we all need something. We have built something for everyone, and it is just genuinely the best way about going about it. Overall, I believe that the convenience of modern life has put a hindrance to communal development. I mean, it's never been easier to completely self-isolate. You could, if you wanted to, work from home. You could DoorDash every single meal. There's a lot of small things that you can do to make it so you really don't have to interact with too many humans. I suggest being a part of a community, especially a healthy community that looks after each other. Humans were not designed to be lone wolves. I mean, not even wolves were designed to be lone wolves. Humans are meant to be in packs, in groups. That's how we flourish, is how we thrive, is off of each other. I do one thing well, they do something else well. Together, we do both things well. It's kind of just that simple. So, thank you.